1. The departure of Pope Shenouda the first, 55th Pope of Alexandria. On this day of the year 596 AM, the good Father Pope Sinuthius, Shenouda the first, 55th Pope of the See, Pope of the See of Saint Mark departed. This Holy Father was a monk in the monastery of Saint Macarius. He advanced in righteousness and worship and was ordained a priest for the monastery. Shortly after, he was chosen for the patriarchate with the recommendation of the people and bishops. He was enthroned on the 3rd of Tuba, 575 AM, and great tribulations and severe persecutions befell him. God performed through him many signs and healed many grievous sickness. Once there was a drought in the city of Marion for 3 years, and the wells dried up and the farmland became barren. This father came to the church of Saint Mina, celebrated the divine liturgy, and supplicated God to have mercy upon his creation. At the setting of the sun of that day, the rain began lightly then ceased. This father entered his room and stood up, praying, and he said, O my Lord Christ, have mercy on thy people with the riches of thy compassion, and let them be filled with thy pleasure. Before he finished his prayer, mighty thunders and great and lightnings started, and the rain descended like a flood until the wells, the vineyards, and the farms were filled with water. The, were filled with water. The people rejoiced, glorifying God, the wonder worker. When this father was in the wilderness visiting the monasteries, the Arabs of the Upper Egypt came to the desert of Scetis to plunder the monasteries and kill the monks. The Pope took his staff that has the sign of the cross on it, and he went forth to meet him. When they saw the cross, they retreated and fled away. The account of this wonder is mentioned the 9th day of the month of Baramouda. Someone in the village Cambournesa, one of the villages of Marriott, said that he who suffered for us, who was only a man at that, the divinity that departed from him. This Pope wrote a letter and sent it during the Holy Fast Lent to be read in all the churches. He said in it, God the Word suffered for us in his body, and his divinity was not separated from his humanity, not for a twinkling of an eye. The pain and suffering did not touch and affect the divinity, as when you hammer a hot iron, the iron suffers from the hammering, but not the flame. For the passion of the humanity to be of value, the hypostatic union with the divinity was a must, and through this passion Christ redeemed all the humanity. Also, some men from the divinity of El Baliana and their bishops said that the divinity nature died. When the Father heard that, he wrote to them, saying, The nature of God, the word is unknowable, intangible, and impassible, for it was impossible for the pain to affect its essence. The participation of the divinity with the humanity in passion is moral participation to give a value to these sufferings, to pay debt of the humanity to God the Omnipresent, and that would only be possible if the divinity would participate morally without affecting his essence. So we say, Holy God, who was crucified for us, have mercy on us. When his letter reached them, they turned from their error, and their bishops came and confessed the true and right faith before the Pope and asked for forgiveness. Pope Shenouda the first cared greatly for the churches, their buildings and their needs. He also cared for the places wherein pilgrims sojourn, and what money has left to him he gave to the poor and the needy. When he finished his good course, he departed in peace. He stayed in the church of St. Mark for 21 years, 3 months, and 11 days. His prayers be with us. Amen. 2. The Martyrdom of Saint Sina the soldier. On this day also, Saint Sina, the companion of Saint Isidore, was martyred. After the governor of Varma had tortured the two princes and Saint Isidore was martyred, he kept Saint Sina in the prison until he was removed. When the governor took charge with the commandment not to keep anyone who confessed the name of Christ, he read about the presence of Sina in prison, that he was a captain of soldiers. Saint Sina was startled much, but did not turn from his counsel. The governor immediately ordered to cut off his head, and he received the crown of martyrdom. His mother was beside him, and when he was martyred, and she saw a multitude of angels carrying away his soul, and she saw Saint Isidore's soul at the time of his martyrdom before. They took his body, sorted it, laid it with the body of his friend Saint Isidore in the city of San Manut, and many signs and wonders appeared from them. Their prayers be with us, and glory be to our God forever. Amen.